when she was blowing her nose. Oh, self-conscious lady. It's all right. Anyway, let's get into it. Coach Colin here. I got the wife with me. As you probably already heard, she is here, and we are talking about Sam Altman getting fired. Altman getting fired from OpenAI, and a whole bunch of things happening the second that happened. But we're getting into the reason that he got fired. And it seems like it's a little conspiratorial because OpenAI won't admit anything openly, right? No pun intended. But they won't admit anything. They won't actually come forward and talk about the discovery of AGI and whether or not that's happened. But there's a lot of people who have discovered a lot of different things via their website, via all the things that have happened since he got fired and reinstated, that kind of point towards they have discovered AGI. Far closer than they're letting on.
True.
So let's get into that. We got 2 Joe Rogan clips for you. The first one I'm going to play right now. You good to start?
Can we do the Instagram first?
Oh, yeah. Let's do the Instagram one first. Yeah, let's do that.
This is the one that started it all.
Because this is going to give you guys a really good insight on exactly what happened. Let's
an insane story of how ChatGPT CEO Sam Altman got fired and rehired in just 4 days. By the way, I visualized everything in ChatGPT just because why not? So on November 17th, OpenAI, the owners of ChatGPT, put out a tweet saying, hey, the board has decided to fire our CEO, Sam Altman. It's also worth noting that they gave zero context as to why. The next day, November 18th, it was reported that Sam Altman was fired after there was a breakdown in communication between him and the board. Then that same day, November 18th, an investor came forward and said they were unhappy with the decision, and multiple employees came forward saying that they would consider quitting if he wasn't reinstated as CEO. Then the next day, November 19th, Altman comes forward and says that he may return to the company, but he also may start his own AI company himself. Then things start getting messy. Microsoft comes forward on November 20th and says, hey, we hired Sam Altman, the former CEO, to lead our AI research. Then on that same day, OpenAI comes forward and says, hey, we hired the former Twitch CEO as our new CEO. Then 710 OpenAI employees come forward and say, hey, if you don't hire Sam back and if our whole board doesn't resign, we quit. Then OpenAI's board approaches their main competitors and sees whether they want to merge. Then investors hear about this and they say, if you do not fix this mistake, we will sue the entire board. So on November 21st, with investors ready to sue and over 90% of OpenAI's employees ready to resign, the board decides to rehire Altman and says that they themselves will leave the company. I've never seen someone pull off a comeback like this, but that's my opinion. What do y'all think? This is the complete insane story.
That's so wild. I don't understand what happened when you see all that.
What people dream of happening when they're let go from any job.
Well, this is I was saying we were at a friend's house the other day, and I said this hasn't happened. Something like this hasn't happened since Steve Jobs got ousted from Apple, and it was the same kind of thing. The board that he hired ended up ousting him. He went off. He created some great software at Next. He created some great, I think it was Pixar, like some great animated types technology. And then they needed him back. And the same technology that he created at Next, which no longer exists because it got brought over to Apple, is the same technology that pretty much helped save Apple altogether.
Wow.
And they needed him as a leader.
Yeah,
he was more than just a salesman that a lot of people call him and a marketer. They needed him. And I think Sam Altman proves to be the same thing to OpenAI, which is why the 700 employees. And just to say, the reason, and I'm going to get to the Joe Rogan clip right now, but the reason I think that they all acted that way is because they realized, oh no, we have AGI. And if he's not leading us, what's about to happen? Like, what is Microsoft going to do with this now? We just put everything into our hearts and souls into this. We have AGI now, and now they just got rid of our leader, and now they just have this technology to themselves. And if we all quit, then they can't handle the technology. That seems like what they did. If we all leave, they won't be able to do this.
Yeah.
Because they won't have all the notes and all the knowledge that we have. That's what I think. Anyways, let's get into the Joe Rogan clip. This is Sam Altman talking about AGI, and I think even at this point he was a little closer than he's letting on. So let's get into it.
But when you think of AGI, when you think of the possible future, like where it goes to, Do you ever extrapolate? Do you ever like sit and pause and say, well, if this becomes sentient and it has the ability to make better versions of itself, how long before we're literally dealing with a god?
So the way that I think about this is, it used to be that like AGI was this very binary moment. It was before and after. And I think I was totally wrong about that. And the right way to think about it is this continuum of intelligence, this smooth exponential curve, back all the way to that sort of smooth curve of technological revolution. The amount of compute power we can put into the system, the scientific ideas about how to make it more efficient and smarter, to give it the ability to do reasoning, to think about how to improve itself, that will all come. But my model for a long time, I think if you look at the world of AGI thinkers, there's sort of two, particularly around the safety issues you're talking about, there's two axes that matter. There's the what called short timelines or long timelines. To the first milestone of AGI, whatever that's going to be. Is that going to happen in a few years, a few decades, maybe even longer? Although at this point, I think most people are a few years, a few decades. And then there's takeoff speed. Once we get there, from there to that point you're talking about where it's capable of the rapid self-improvement, is that a slow or a fast process? The world that I think we're in, and also the world that I think is the most controllable and the safest, is the short timelines and slow takeoff quadrant. And I think we're going to have, there were a lot of very smart people for a while who were like, the thing you were just talking about happens in a day or 3 days. And that doesn't seem likely to me given the shape of the technology as we understand it now. Now, even if that happens in a decade or 3 decades, it's still like the blink of an eye from a historical perspective. And there are going to be some real challenges to getting that right. And the decisions we make, the sort of safety systems and the checks that the world puts in place, how we think about global regulation or rules of the road from a safety perspective for those projects, it's super important because you can imagine many things going horribly wrong. But I feel cheerful about the progress the world is making towards taking this seriously. And, it reminds me of what I've read about the conversations that the world had right around the development of nuclear weapons.
It seems to me that this is, at least in terms of public consciousness, this has emerged very rapidly, where I don't think anyone was really aware. People were aware of the concept of artificial intelligence, but they didn't think that it was going to be implemented so comprehensively, so quickly.
Yeah.
So ChatGPT is on, what, 4.5 now? 4. And with 4.5, there'll be some sort of an exponential increase in its abilities?
It'll be somewhat better. Each step, from each like half step like that, you humans have this ability to like get used to any new technology so quickly. Mm-hmm. The thing that I think was unusual about the launch of ChatGPT 3.5 and then 4 was that people hadn't really been paying attention. And that's part of the reason we deploy. We think it's very important that people and institutions have time to gradually understand this, react, co-design the society that we want with it. And if you just build AGI in secret in a lab and then drop it on the world all at once, I think that's a really bad idea. So we had been trying to talk to the world about this for a while. People, if you don't give people something they can feel and use in their lives, they don't quite take it seriously. Everybody's busy. And so there was this big overhang from where the technology was to where public consciousness was. Now, that's caught up. We've deployed. I think people understand it. I don't expect the jump from like 4 to whenever we finish 4.5, which would be a little while. I don't expect that to be the crazy switch, the crazy adjustment that people have had to go through has mostly happened. I think most people have gone from thinking that AGI was science fiction and very far off to something that is going to happen. And that was like a one-time reframe. And now, every year you get a new iPhone. Over the 15 years or whatever since the launch, they've gotten dramatically better. But iPhone to iPhone, you're like, yeah, okay, it's a little better. But now if you go hold up the first iPhone to the 15 or whatever, that's a big difference. GPT 3.5 to AGI, that'll be a big difference. But along the way, it'll just get incrementally better.
So that is what he's saying about AGI.
Mm-hmm. When was that episode?
This podcast?
Yeah.
Let's see here. It was 1 month ago.
Oh.
It was right around this.
Wow.
All of this has happened in very.
That's crazy. So he knew about what was going on.
For sure. I mean,
in terms of their development, obviously he can't share it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's what I think. I think he was way more ahead than he wanted to lead on.
Yeah, for sure.
And even this is the thing. They work so closely with Microsoft. Mm-hmm. But I think there probably are more existing things that he keeps from Microsoft.
Yeah, probably.
Because Microsoft probably has the mindset of, let's roll this out immediately. And, like, let's show this to our overlord, Bill Gates. Even though he's not a part of the company or anything like that anymore, we still have to show him and put this into action. Right? And Sam's probably like, no.
Yeah.
No, we're going to keep this, this is just my clique of 800 developers who all know how to do this, and we've all been working together, and we keep things close to the chest. And we're not just going to let you guys know what's going on. It's not only 800. I think it's 750 people.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That's nuts, too, to think about. That many people working on it. I'm sure there's more working on, like, smaller parts, but for the most, like, the core of it, 750 people. That's why, again, I did an episode where Joe Rogan was like, well, if you're an alien and you look down on the world, it's like most people are making technology. It's like, no. The biggest things in the world, it's small groups of people.
Yeah.
Like the hugest leaps in technologies, it's these small groups of people. And that was my point of saying technology isn't something we do. It's something that happens to us. It's being put upon us by this small group of people and being financed by an even smaller group of people. So,
True.
like it's not like, well, we have babies. That's what people do. If they look down, they'd see people fighting and babies. That's it.
Yeah.
And they don't even fight with weapons a lot of the time. Throughout the whole world, the 8 billion people, it's probably mostly fists and unprotected baby making. That's it. As in most of the world, that's how they're doing it. But yeah, what do you think about all that? Everything he has had to say.
It's interesting, like, knowing what I do now, like doing the research.
Yeah.
To see what he's saying about, like AGI is going to be kind of a long way off.
Yeah.
And things like that.
That's the thing.
And his comparison between the iPhone was interesting as well, because he said the difference between the first iPhone and the 15th is like very noticeable. So he said it would be like that between he was implying the first ChatGPT and AGI.
Yeah.
But that's a lot quicker than 15-year span.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's not really a comparable.
That's true. Yeah. I get what you're saying. Yeah. 100%.
Like if it took him 15 years to get there, sure.
Yeah, but it's not.
I think for me, like I always think of AI as AGI. Like when somebody says AI to me, I don't think ChatGPT. Like ChatGPT is great as a tool, but I don't think it's that smart.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Well,
like in terms of abilities with computer programs, sure.
Yeah, it's wildly smart in terms of making things easier, certain things.
But basically it does what a librarian does faster.
Much faster. Well, much
just
faster
like research.
And more personalized.
Yes.
It's like if the librarian knew the book and then opened the page and then said this part right here.
Yeah.
That's what you're looking for.
Like it's impressive that it can do that quickly.
Yeah.
But it's not outside the range of human skill.
Yeah, it just does it way faster.
Exactly.
That's where it's outside of the range of human skill, is that it does it so much faster than we do.
Yes.
I mean, like, you already know what I've been doing. You want to see what AGI looks like? This is what AGI looks like. Let me just show everybody here. I asked ChatGPT to show me what AGI looked like.
And that's what it thinks?
In a dystopian world where it has taken over. And it was like, oh, I know what that looks like. Yep, there you go.
Seems like ChatGPT is scared as well.
Well, I said it's a dystopian world because I had to paint it the way I see it.
Yeah.
And at first it was like, I can't really, this is all speculative. It was like trying to tell me words, and I'm like, you don't tell me words. You make pictures for me. Thank you. And then it just made me the picture.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think of AI more as AGI, like things that people can't do. Like solving super complex math problems that humans haven't been able to solve.
Well, it will, well, yeah, that humans haven't been able to solve. So it's doing things like that. But yeah, ChatGPT, this is what I think. And he actually mentioned it in this because he said you got to give people something to feel and use so they understand. And I think that is the purpose more so of ChatGPT. It's almost like,
training wheels.
Yeah, it's like training wheels. It's almost like the bridge to AGI, so it's not too overwhelming. That's why he said, like, to just make AGI and drop it on the world, that wouldn't be a good idea.
True.
So it's like you give ChatGPT in these spoon servings of like 3.5, here's 4, Here's 4.5.
Yeah.
Okay, here's 5, you know. But if you just gave us AGI right away, everybody would go nuts. And I already talked about this whole theory of what would happen, because Joe Rogan always talks about naturally people merging with technology. You know, like that's our nature. Like our nature is to make technology and improve. And I think our nature is more to destroy things. And if you overwhelm us with the technology, we'll destroy it. Especially if you're making 1 billion, 2, 3, 4 billion people obsolete. They'll be like, oh, I have to destroy this and whoever made it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It would be like a witch hunt.
Yeah.
And then it'd be like find all the smart people, get rid of them. Who has a computer
True.
degree? If you're like, oh, there you okay.
Wow. Use ChatGPT to find all the people with computer degrees.
Exactly. Yeah, it would be like that. But in terms of researching this, I'm just pulling up the next clip that we have, because we do have another Rogan clip for you guys. But what else? What did you find as you were looking into this?
Well, I found a little bit about what the project is called that he was allegedly let go for. And it's called Q-Star, and we'll get into that in a little bit as well.
Yes.
But that's supposedly the AGI program. And from what Sam Altman said, he compared ChatGPT has an ability to do math problems that are very simple, like kind of elementary level.
Yes, definitely.
But this Q-Star was already able to do like high school math exams. In its very, very beginning
Infancy.
state. Yeah. And they were saying too, I found this really interesting, that they use math as kind of a test because there's only one correct answer.
Yeah.
So when they use things like language and words, there are multiple answers.
Yeah, of
So
course.
what ChatGPT does is it basically analyzes the statistics of what the next word should be.
Yes.
So it's like on phone when you're using like predictive text, but just at a very, very high level.
Yes.
But
Exactly.
math, they can't do the same thing, and they can't use that because there's only one correct answer. So it's not a probability question. It's this is 100% correct. So it's much harder for systems like that to figure out.
And it's able to do that.
Yeah.
Well, Elon Musk was talking about AGI because of the video I was just listening to before we came on camera. He was talking about how he feels Tesla is more likely to figure out AGI first. But that was a little while ago, before everybody knew about all these developments or whatever.
Well, they could have still.
Yeah, who knows? Because Elon was talking about the thing that blew him away was he said we didn't teach it what a person was or a car or anything. We didn't teach it anything, and it knew. And it learned it the same way a human would learn it. Like the same way a baby would watch anything and figure out what these things are.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, even different than a baby, because eventually you have to tell a baby. The baby
Yeah.
might like know it and might see it, but you have to like give the baby the word. It understood exactly what a human was, what a car was, what the sign was, what the sign meant. Just wild stuff like that. And that's just him working on the autonomous cars,
Yeah.
because that's where his main work is getting the autonomous cars, and through the development of that software, they're also touching on AGI and AI and everything because they need to. So it's weird. It's a weird little path he's on,
Yeah, that is weird.
right?
Yeah, I didn't think about like developing Teslas and you'd have to do
Yeah,
a bunch of AI stuff.
Yeah, so they're figuring it out based on that. Another reason why I think OpenAI has stumbled onto AGI is because this was actually pointed out by another creator, and they were talking about how the website's changed, and now the website in their core values has this AGI focus, where we're committed to building safe, beneficial AGI that will have a massive positive impact on humanity's future. That's nice to hear. Nobody has said that yet. Like,
Interesting.
legit, nobody has said this is going to be good for people. No one has said that yet. They usually don't talk about that. Anything that doesn't help the scope, with that is out of scope. So before it didn't say this before. It was talking about ChatGPT and AI, and now it's talking about AGI. And AGI focus is the top thing now. It wasn't like that before. So that was another clue that people realize. This change happened. Sam got fired. It was like within the same week of this changing, Sam got fired.
Wow. I wonder who like looks at that all the time
To see
and notices that it changed.
People who are just like deep into the AI community. Some people are just deep. This is like all they watch and all they look at.
Yeah, I guess there's probably people, because this is the careers page on OpenAI. So there's probably people who are here like every day trying to apply to jobs and stuff.
100%. Yeah, this is the career page. If you want to actually see this, it's openai.com/careers. And you'll see this right away.
I love in their culture and development section a little bit later, it's freshly baked cookies.
Yeah.
Made me laugh.
Yeah, obviously written by AI.
I was going to say, this is like an AI version of what people would want.
Yeah, exactly, obviously. What else do you want to focus on before I go to the next clip?
Well, do you want to go to the clip and then we'll talk about Q-Star?
Okay, let's do it. So I'm going to pull up another Joe Rogan clip for you guys. This is them talking about the pause on AI that Elon Musk called for. And Sam Altman, I like how he looks very smug in this picture because he thinks of this in a very smug way. You can tell they have a little bit of a nerd genius battle going on. So let's get into this clip.
Didn't he start it like after he was calling for the pause? Like when Elon was this sort of natural inclination that we have for competition, and that someone hijacks that.
I think this is going to be such a hugely important issue to get ahead of before the first people push that button.
What do you think about like when Elon was calling for a pause on AI?
He was like starting an AGI company while he was doing that.
Yeah. So didn't he start it like after he was calling for the pause?
I think before, but I don't remember. In any case.
Is it one of those you can't beat him, join him things?
I think the instinct of saying like we've really got to figure out how to make this safe and good and like widely good is really important. But I think calling for a pause is like naive at best. I kind of think you can't make progress on the safety part of this, as we mentioned earlier, by sitting like in a room and thinking hard. You've got to see where the technology goes. You've got to have contact with reality. And then when you but we're trying to like make progress towards AGI conditioned on it being safe and conditioned on it being beneficial. And so when we hit any kind of like block, we try to find a technical or a policy or a social solution to overcome it. That could be about the limits of the technology and something not working and, hallucinates or it's not getting smart or whatever. Or it could be there's this like safety issue and we've got to like redirect our resources to solve that. But it's all like, for me, it's all this same thing of like we're trying to solve the problems that emerge at each step as we get where we're trying to go. And, maybe you can call it a pause if you want, if you pause on capabilities to work on safety. But in practice, I think the field has gotten a little bit wander on the axle there. And safety and capabilities are not these two separate things. This is like, I think, one of the dirty secrets of the field. It's like we have this one way to make progress. We can understand and push on deep learning more. And that can be used in different ways, but I think it's that same technique that's going to help us eventually solve the safety. All of that said, as like a human, emotionally speaking, I super understand why it's tempting to call for a pause. Happens all the time in life, right? This is moving too fast.
Right.
We got to take a pause here.
Yeah. How much of a concern is it in terms of national security that we are the ones that come up with this first?
Well, I would say that if an adversary of ours comes up with it first and uses it against us and we don't have some level of capability, that feels really bad.
Yeah.
But I hope that what happens is this can be a moment where, to tie it back to the other conversation, we kind of come together and overcome our base impulses and say, like, let's all do this as a club together. That would be better. That
would be nice. And maybe through AGI and through the implementation of this technology, it will make translation instantaneous and easy. So
that's already happened.
Right. But I mean, it hasn't happened in real time to the point where you can accurately communicate.
Very soon.
Very soon.
Very soon.
Yeah.
I do think, for what it's worth, that the world is going to come together here. I don't think people have quite realized the stakes, but this is like, I don't think this is a geopolitical, if this comes down to like a geopolitical fight or race, I don't think there's any winners. And so I'm optimistic about people coming together.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, I think most people would like that. If you ask the vast majority of the human beings that are alive, wouldn't it be better if everybody got along?
Maybe you can't go all the way there and say we're just going to have one global effort. But I think at least we can get to a point where we have one global set of rules, safety standards, organization that makes sure everyone's following the rules. We did this for atomic weapons. There's been similar things in the world of biology. I think we'll get there.
That's a good example.
Nukes is a great example. I think Elon Musk would agree with that, with how much he talks about how dangerous it is, comparing it to that. You know what I find funny in that clip? He says very soon when they're talking about like instant translation of things. I think every time he says very soon, especially given the strides that they've supposedly made in AGI since this podcast and probably before, I think every time he says very soon, they have it already. And they just don't know how or when or, how aesthetically pleasing it is to like the public.
Yeah, like when it's going to be released.
Yeah. Like
True, because otherwise they wouldn't say very soon.
Yeah, how could you say very soon if you're just
if you have no idea?
In the stages, yeah. You have no clue. You don't know if it's going to work, if it's not going to work.
True.
But for you to say very soon, especially in his sector, you probably have something already done.
Yeah, especially when this is something that's never been done before. You don't say very soon.
Yeah.
If it's not something that you think is actually soon.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Very, very interesting. So what do you want to touch on? I got the Q-Star thing here. I got the...
Can you open up the Daily Mail article for me?
Which one? This one? That one?
This one. Yeah.
Perfect. Let's go.
So this one's talking a little bit about why Sam Altman was let go. So it says near the beginning, multiple employees reportedly warned the company's board of directors that this project named Q-Star was becoming so advanced it could already pass math exams and perform critical thinking tasks.
Where is this?
Like near the top.
Near the top.
Like second paragraph.
Oh, okay. Whoa.
And they felt Altman was not taking their warnings seriously. So it actually came from some employees, this letter to the board, telling them about Q-Star and what it was doing and that it was just going too fast.
Okay.
So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I'll let you tell me. This website's so messy.
It is very messy.
I don't know why it's
so
like
hard
this.
to read. It's so distracting with all these crazy ads and everything going on.
Yeah. But go ahead. Sorry.
And it says, in an interview this week, Altman did not deny the existence of the secret program that some employees said was responsible for his firing. Instead, he called the revelation of Q-Star an unfortunate leak. So he could have denied it, but he confirmed it by just calling it an unfortunate leak.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's a bit crazy. And then where did it say? So his statement exactly was, no particular comment on that unfortunate leak, he said. But what we have been saying 2 weeks ago, what we are saying today, what we were saying a year ago, what we were saying earlier on, is that we expect progress in this technology to continue to be rapid, and also that we expect to continue to work very hard to figure out how to make it safe and beneficial. So it sounds like he already had it, and they're just trying to test it, contain it, figure out what it could be used for.
Exactly what I was saying.
Exactly.
Yeah. So when they say very soon, it means that they have it in hand and they just got to figure out. It's like when you're a kid and your mom like blows on your food first. They're like blowing on it. It's like really hot and they're like, make sure it's good
before they spoon feed it to you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, he's the mom blowing on the food.
They're like, we can't just drop AGI on them. They'll go crazy. And I really do think people would. I really am in the group of, if you expose billions of people to something that's going to make them obsolete, they're not going to respond well.
No.
Like people, when you do these small little things, Jordan Peterson talks about it a lot, when you push people a couple of inches and then they rebel and then you pull back, but they're still at that place you push them to, and then you push them a little more and then you pull back, you push them a little more and then you pull back. Whereas, and then when you look up, all of a sudden you're 1,000 miles back and you're like, I don't understand what happened. And that's how people slowly will take privacies from you, freedoms from you, all that stuff. Same thing goes with technology, because if you just push them all the way back and say, this is everything we have, they're going to be like, no. We're going to push back against this because this is insane. what you just showed us, what you just done to us.
Yeah.
You know, it's like one sector at a time. First, it's just the people who do Uber Eats. They start losing their jobs because everything's like, you know, going autonomously. That's okay. Then it becomes artists. It's like, well, you can still make art. This thing just makes art a little faster than you do.
Oh my gosh.
And that's okay. And then it becomes coders. And like, oh, well, you can overlook the AI, you know. But if you just take away 20 sectors, it's 20 different fields of work out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's a lot.
People will go nuts. That's just me, though.
If you go to the other
Which one?
article, Medium.
Medium?
Yeah.
I don't even know which one. This one?
Yes.
Oh, what is Q-Star?
Yeah, what is Project Q-Star?
Yeah, what is it?
Yeah, so it's talking a little bit about it. So it says at the very first paragraph, Project Q-Star, often referred to as just Q-Star, is an artificial intelligence algorithm developed by OpenAI. The project has been shrouded in mystery, with details about it not widely publicized. However, it has been reported to be capable of solving simple math problems that were not part of its training material, which some researchers see as a significant step toward achieving artificial general intelligence, or AGI. So that's basically what it's doing. And then if I scroll down a little bit in that article.
That's exactly what Elon Musk was saying.
Exactly.
With the same.
With the Tesla stuff. Like you didn't train it to do that.
And it just started doing it.
It says the potential impact of Project Q-Star is immense. If successful, it could lead to breakthroughs in how we interact with technology, automate processes, and solve some of the world's most pressing issues. OpenAI's commitment to sharing its research and tools with the public ensures that advancements from Project Q-Star could be widely accessible, fostering a collaborative environment for further innovation. So,
Wow.
I don't know if that's true, but we'll see.
What, like the fact that they want to be open with everything?
Like, I kind of get it, but like at some point, like they're still a company with investors.
Oh, well, Elon Musk already talked about that. When Elon Musk, he's the founder. He
Yeah.
like started it and it was open. He's like, and when he was out, he's like, they closed it.
Yeah,
And he even said, he's like, it's called OpenAI, but it's closed. He's like,
exactly.
they've
I
closed
think
it off.
when they come up with this, it'll be even more closed off.
Because even as I'm talking about Tesla and AGI and things of that nature, a lot of what Tesla has, I don't know if everything in terms of the Tesla is open, but a lot of the stuff is open.
Like the coding stuff?
Yeah, you can see it, you can alter it, you can make it better, you can show them that you made it better, you can figure out the stuff based on it.
That's
You can
crazy.
make the, like, he wants it to be open. That's how technology is supposed to be.
Yeah.
But they're not doing that. OpenAI is not doing that
No, not really.
because you can't really.
You can't go and see the code.
You can use an API and do things off of ChatGPT, I believe. Like make it do certain things. Like maybe I can make something that will comb through every episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, and every time he mentions Israel, it gives me just access to all of that.
Yeah.
And I know where it is. And it pulls it all up. And I can like click and like make a whole video based on everything Joe Rogan said about Israel. There's probably something I can do like that with an API off of ChatGPT, but I can't just like do my own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even that sounds dramatically difficult.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's it from that article. But it's just, that's why people think he was let go. Because of this Project Q-Star coming to light and the employee letter.
And I think it's not just Project. I don't think it's just the fact that this got leaked and blah blah blah. I think he had this tech. He had this Q-Star, and they were looking at it. They're working on it. They're figuring it out, and Microsoft wasn't privy to it. And I think they had something to do with everything happening.
Because it said Microsoft invested, I think it was $10 billion
Yeah.
into this. So yeah, if they're not being
Yeah.
involved, they might have had a hand.
Yeah, definitely. I think they wanted to take it. I think it's like, oh, this is the greatest breakthrough ever.
Yeah.
Like, let's get rid of the guy who's standing in the way of this right away. There's some kid, some Sam Altman standing in the way of this. Let's get him out of the way and let's do what we do best at Microsoft, which is, ruin the world. No, I'm kidding. I'm a PC guy. I'm not an Apple guy. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. What are you looking up?
I wanted to see, because they mentioned in that Instagram video at the beginning that they brought in a replacement for Sam Altman already.
Yeah, the CEO of Twitch.
Yeah, so Emmett Shear was his name. I don't know why they would think that he would be a good option.
The same way, if you're running a country, if you could have someone in place that is a good enough face and name, but won't do much, won't stand in the way of much, but it'll just be there. That's the most I can think of, because I get it. He is a great CEO, the CEO of Twitch. Twitch has done some incredible things.
Yeah.
They have changed a lot of things. They are, a lot of people don't realize it, but they are the biggest competitor to YouTube right now. Like, Rumble is nowhere even close to a competitor with YouTube. It's not even funny. But I think Twitch is, in terms of the people they sign, the influence all of their streamers have.
Yeah, true.
Like, they're the main competitor right now. So he has done some great things, but I don't think he is somebody who could run that show.
Yeah,
I think he's just a face.
CEO of OpenAI for 72 hours. And this article I just pulled up says he's deeply pleased with the result. Like, maybe he didn't want to be there.
Well, if they brought him on as CEO, he got money.
Yeah.
And if they got rid of him,
He kept that money.
Kept the money, probably got paid money.
True. Well, I don't know, 3 days.
As soon as you're signed in, the contingency inside of your contract, I would think,
I guess, yeah,
would have
might
it
be
like,
different for
if
CEOs.
you get rid of me for any reason, then you owe me this amount of money. I don't know. $10 billion they've invested. It's $1 billion industry. Guy probably walked away with like $20 billion for 3 days of work. But yeah, what else you into here?
Yeah, nothing.
Q-Star is very interesting.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye out for that.
Why did you like this this article here? This is he building a god thing? Did you just like the headline?
Yeah.
I like the headline as well.
Yeah, it was interesting.
I wanna
He
get
didn't
into this.
say specifically that he was building a god, just something about he made a comment about AI being just like a magic intelligence in the sky. And then people attributed that to him meaning like a god.
True. Yeah, we're creating a god. An engineer working on a large language model told Vanity Fair, "We're creating conscious machines." Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That wasn't Sam who said that.
No,
but
it was another person.
Yeah.
The reason OpenAI exists at all is that Larry Page and I used to be close friends, and I would stay at his house in Palo Alto, and we would talk, and I would talk to him late into the night about AI safety, Musk added. At least my perception was Larry was not taking AI safety seriously enough. That's the conversation he had with Larry Page,
And Elon Musk.
co-founder of Google.
Yeah.
That really didn't care about AI like destroying humanity.
I'm pretty sure Larry Page is on the board of
Of what?
OpenAI.
Oh, I could see that. Yeah, that's a bad person to have on the board.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's new or one of the ones that survived,
Yeah, he acts like
but
he's
he's on
new.
the board.
He acts like he's new to humanity. He acts like he's new to being a person.
Oh gosh.
I'm telling you, I think some of those guys have like secret implants that they don't talk about.
What do you mean?
I don't think their intelligence is all on the up and up. You know, when you see a bodybuilder, it's a little buff. You're like, I think he's on something. I think they're on something. I think they're on some
something that they're
technology.
like hiding from
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. Why would they tell you?
True.
They're psychopaths. They're like sociopaths.
Yeah, at that point they are.
They're just like, I'm just going to put this thing in, and they said it'd make me smarter, and it did, and I'm keeping it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Weird.
I think that.
But yeah.
There's a
maybe.
huge conspiracy about Elon Musk being like an AI robot.
And that's why he's like worried about.
Well, that could be part of it, but it's mainly because you'll see him like sitting around sometimes, and he'll go like he does this weird like neck thing. But I figured out behind that conspiracy, he actually had some discs replaced.
Oh.
And he actually had a bit of fusing, like not fusing, but he had some like disc issues. Like he really messed it. Like he went through a bunch of
messed up his
surgeries,
neck.
and now he like ran. Like so, he'll be walking, and also he'll go like this, and people will be like, "Oh, there it is. There's
That's
the glitch."
So funny. When he's just stretching his neck. People crack their necks all the time.
Yeah, exactly. But when he does it, it looks weird. And sometimes he'll just be talking. He'll just go like that. Just like,
Sometimes it's also like a nervous tick.
maybe he doesn't seem nervous about much. He told
No.
told Disney to F off.
Yeah, good for him.
He said to the CEO, "Hi, Bob.
Yeah.
Hope you're in the audience. That was so good.
And then Disney's stock fell 5%.
Of course. Of course. And it's going to continue to fall.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. For sure it's going to continue to fall. And then in the future, Elon Musk will buy them.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That'd be crazy.
He's into buying failing companies.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. Disney's doing pretty well.
Still not failing.
Yeah. I mean, Bud Light lost $30 billion and they're still in the top 5
Yeah, they're
of
still
beers, you know?
Yeah.
Top 5 still. And they switched over to the UFC. They went from
Yeah.
Dylan Mulvaney to the UFC. They're going to be fine in like a year and a half.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's it.
That's it.
All right, guys. Like and subscribe and hit up IamCoachColin.com for all of your anti-establishment merch. And other than that, we are out.
Bye.